This channel is not monetized, and this video is for educational purposes only. Now, you're about to listen to an excerpt from a 3-hour-long interview that Tony Merkel did with a man who, as a boy, befriended a juvenile Bigfoot along with his neighborhood friends. He had 2 encounters with this juvenile Bigfoot, 1 at a vacation place, and 2, the same juvenile Bigfoot showed up in his neighborhood. That juvenile Bigfoot was shot and killed, and I'm going to share with you what happened afterwards. Now, as very interested as I am in Bigfoot, I am much, much more interested in government officials who violate the rights of Americans who have experiences with Bigfoot. Those are the people we need to find. Let's save Bigfoot for later. You will find a link to the entire 3-hour interview below. And if you'd like this artwork on a black t-shirt, the link's below. It comes in several variations.
The body's laying out there. I get over there and they're checking it out. And there's a line of bushes alongside of the pole barn that the picnic table is sitting next to. And we started examining the body, and the first thing they look at they open the teeth, or open the mouth and look at the teeth. And when they opened the jaw and slid it down, we're looking at the teeth, and the gums were like a dog's gums, like the pink and black. Yeah, there's multiple colored pink and black like that with spots all over. The tongue was black, but all the teeth were blocky like a Neanderthal, because that's actually what, I'll get to that, but that's actually what the Native Americans told me what they are, is a Neanderthal type thing. I don't know if they're exactly Neanderthals, or the way they explain it, it sounds like exactly what it is. And I'll get to that. The teeth in the far back on the upper part of the jaw, which I do not think were connected to the skull, like normal teeth, slid down. When you slid the jaw down like this, these teeth back here would slide down. They're big, like canine looking things.
So as the bottom jaw would go down, these things would protrude out.
Yep.
Okay, almost like a reflex.
Yep.
Okay.
While he was dead, still they would move down with the jaw, but they weren't attached to like the skull. And they sat back behind these teeth back here, way back here, like they weren't really effective at doing anything. Mm-hmm. But these people thought, oh my God, people got to know about this. This is dangerous. And
yeah,
well, you saved my son's life and all this stuff. They said, from trying to get him away from him. But they decided they were gonna, the other family, the second family,
the family that didn't know what happened, and they were at school shopping.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
These 2 families decided, these 2 guys decided they were going to keep the body at that point and take pictures of it. As we're checking it out, the adults showed up, and they started screaming and stuff like that before we did anything with the body. And the one guy, Bill, wet his pants, and the other boy and I ran back to the house, and those 2 guys were standing there. For some reason, Tom had brought his gun, and he picked up his gun and started shooting at in the air. And drove the adult Sasquatch away, and me and the other boy are already up to the house, ready to go in the house.
Okay, so all right, so I just need to clarify here again. You said adult Sasquatch. The adult Sasquatch were there?
Yeah, they showed up when the body was on the table.
And so okay, I got to clarify this so that I can keep it all straight in my head. Who are the humans present at this moment, and when the adult Sasquatch show up?
Okay, these are 2 different neighbor families.
Okay,
and the 2 fathers from each neighbor family.
So Tim's dad.
Yep.
And the other father.
Brad's father, his name was Bill. Those were the 2 neighbors, and myself.
So 3 humans were there.
Right.
Where was Tim?
Tim was gone with the rest of the family, like I told you.
Okay, school shopping?
They left after that, because they took the whole family away because they had no idea if they would come back and start banging on the house. And Tom had to be there, the father, because the government was going to show up the next day with the bloodhounds, and they had to talk. We ended up, they had to come up and talk to me too. I did a whole long interview the next day with them. And, Tom spent the whole day with them, and I'll get to that. They show up when Mike spread out on the juvenile Sasquatch on the picnic table and start screaming and scare the other adult, Bill, and he wets his brand new tracksuit he just got the next day, and he tells everybody, "We'll never tell anybody about this." Damn straight, I'm going to tell everybody about it. But after Tom drove him away with a gun, Bill immediately gets his tractor and plows that frickin' line of bushes away so they can't come back. I mean, immediately just starts up his tractor and plows hit a big tractor and took out those things. Then when we get back to looking at the Sasquatch, he tells Brad to go inside. They happen to be photographers and have their own dark room. Back then it was film. He says, "Go get your cameras. We're going to make the alien autopsy look like nothing." And they proceeded to take pictures, a bunch of pictures of him, and then decided to cut him open. And he had his hunting knife, and Bill cut him open, and his guts fell out all over the place. That's probably because he's in the water. I immediately puked, and I'm used to like hunting. My dad was a hunter, and he would skin rabbits and got deer and all that stuff in front of me. But this was just something totally different, and it smelled awful, and it didn't feel right. And I threw up, and I was getting really kind of upset. And the one neighbor didn't like me much anyway. And he's going, "Why you even have him down here? He's just going to rat us out." They start dissecting him more and more. And after I threw up, Tim's dad goes like, "Randy, at least come over here and look at this." And I got to look at the heart, and they explained the lungs a little bit. I can tell you what they were saying back and forth, but I didn't look that much. Bill, they're both hunters, so they knew what they were talking about. And Bill, the other guy's going like, "Wait, here's his penis, but there's no genitalia. Where is it? Oh, wait, it's in his pelvis. It's not hanging out." They said just the penis and the genitalia were up inside their pelvis like a gorilla, and just the penis would hang out. That's what he said, because they thought it was a girl at first. And it had 2 sets of lungs, 2 voice boxes, and the lungs filled up like from here to here and went over the top of the liver and everything. And they explained that, but they pulled his heart up enough to see it took a pen out and stuck it in the wound that went right through his heart from the bottom, which would be his left side, up through the top. It came out on his right side. But the weirdest thing was it was a 2-chamber heart, almost like he's going like, "Is there 2 hearts in here? Oh, this is one heart with 2 chambers." And it had like a second heart, like it was half the size of the bigger heart. And I think that's what made him be able to get out of the house before he completely bled out. And about that time, they decided that I had to leave because they didn't trust me anymore. And the government guys were pulling in with the dogs at the house next door, and we could see them from down the hill. And they had the bloodhounds down there, and they're going like, "What are we going to do with this thing? We can't hide it now." And they just happened to have a grave dug for their horses that died of that PBB poisoning. The horses were dying as well as the cows. And the state would allow you to put them in a shallow grave to keep the bugs off them until they came pick them up. And they already had the grave dug. And they're going to put Mike's body in there. They put lime on top of it. I don't know why. Dissolve it. I don't know what. They chopped his right arm off at the forearm and put it in a bucket in the pole barn before I left. And they started filling in the hole and putting the horses on. When I left down to go distract John Redcorn and the other people, that's what they sent me down there for. And I went down there and I talked to him. I did distract him, and he goes like, "Well, what are you doing down here?" I was just talking to Tom, Tim's dad, and blah blah blah. Well, I got to give you a ride up to your house. I got to talk to you about this anyway. So it got him away from the house. We had to do a lot of interviews and talking like that, and the government had no idea that they had the body up there at the time. What happened? The Labor Day weekend went by. They developed the pictures over the weekend. The one boy that was like 12 or 13, I think he was in 7th grade, however old that is, probably 12. He took the pictures to school. They told us not to talk about it after the government left. So don't talk about it. They didn't have any, they always said was, "We'll do something about it if you talk about it." And we just thought they were joking. And that's how I knew, like when I drew the picture of what happened in their house, the neighbor's house, with Tim and his family, I knew exactly where everybody was because I went down there, but where they're positioned in there, they told me, and the next day we're talking about it at school in the school bus. And we're all like, "I was here, I was there, this was happening." And I knew where everybody was when I drew it. And then he brings the pictures to school. He gets caught with them. The biology teacher did something. I get called down to the principal's office, and I'm in elementary school, and I go down to the elementary school office, and Brad's sitting there, which he's in junior high, and he's like, "You say anything, I'm going to kick your ass." I'm not going to say anything. And I never did. But they bring out, they took a picture of me when they were taking pictures. They took a picture of Bill, Tom, and I, because Brad was taking the pictures with holding the body up. And they saw that picture, and they're going like, "Well, this is him." And they sent me back to class, and I didn't think there'd be anything more about it. And I went and through the whole day, and I get in the school bus, and we go home, and the school bus would go by their houses first. And they get off, and they had 2 cleaning vans, carpet cleaning vans, and I actually got the company right, too, because I remembered the logo and everything. I even called the company up and tried to find records of it, but they weren't cooperating. But the picture that I drew is the vans that showed up and the actual company that. What happened was we went to those 2 houses. There's 2 cleaning vans in each of those houses. And the bus driver's going, "Oh, you guys are partying a lot over that freaking holiday weekend. Oh, boy." And I thought, well, maybe they did have a party on Sunday. I wasn't down here on Sunday. It wasn't. And the kids got off the bus at the same time. I didn't get to, talk to them about why there's cleaning vans. I get up to my house, there's cleaning vans of the same thing up there, 2 of them. And I'm like, I'm 10 years old. And I'm like, something's not right. Especially when I got off the school bus. I took about 3 steps towards my house. My house wasn't too far from the road. And the curtains closed. There were shades, actually.
As you approached your house?
Close to my house. And I could see silhouettes of several people in there. And I thought, well, maybe they're just cleaning. Something's going on. And like I get up alongside of these vans, and I can see in my kitchen window there was National Guard in there. I could see see them clearly. I just ran. I ran like hell, but they came out of the house and tackled me, brought me back in.
Were your parents home?
Yeah, my parents were being held at gunpoint.
At gunpoint?
They were there. Turns out they were there all day with the neighbors, questioning them, and they couldn't get anywhere. And this guy, John Redcorn, or his name is Jerry, he was getting really upset because he couldn't get anything from the other people, and he thought my dad and I were involved in hiding the body. So he went up there, and after he'd spent the whole day trying to drill the other guys, and like that was another thing. Is my dad was home from work that day. I knew something was wrong. His car was in there, and they somehow got him out of work and home. And same thing with Tom and Bill. Their cars were there, and that's another thing that stuck out. And they dragged me in there, and there's a whole bunch of National Guard in there, and Tom and the other guys, Bill, my neighbor, they just both said, "Don't say anything. They're just gonna question you, and just don't say anything." The guy's going like, "Oh, he's questioning me. He's going like, I'm not a cop." He's going like, "You just can't sit there and be quiet. This is not going to work with me." After he started questioning, he was getting pissed off, and he goes outside and he comes back from his car with a black briefcase, and he sets it down. He opens up, and it's got a whole bunch of needles and sodium pentothal in there, and I just still thinking he's using it as a scare tactic. He has me taped down to a chair with my dad's duct tape, and he's questioning me. He has my parents in another room at gunpoint, and he dragged them off, and there's 3 National Guard behind me, and then there's 3 over on that side of the room, and the one guy, Agent Jerry. I'll tell you about him later and tell you his whole career. He tries to go along with the procedure, and I'm starting to freak out when he's actually going to go along with this sodium pentothal thing. And 3 of the National Guard are like, "Oh, wait a minute, what the hell are you doing?" And they're going like, "I'm going to do what I want. You're under orders." And they're going like, they drew guns on the guy. 3 of them did. And then all of a sudden they all drew guns on each other. And there was more bad guys than there was good guys. And they took the 3 National Guard out of there. And they're going like, "Fight, fight, fight." The whole way they're getting pulled out of there. They threw them in the van and took them off.
They were telling you to fight?
Yeah. And they took those guys away from there in one of the cleaning vans. So we're down to 1 cleaning van. And just 3 National Guard and Jerry, the Native American agent, a Cherokee. I'll get into that in a minute. But when he shoots me up finally with this stuff, and he lets it take effect and just sits me there, and I still won't say a thing. I'm still taped up, and he's going like, "I got an idea." He's going like, grab him, and they left me taped up because they knew I'd run. Left my hands and arms taped up with duct tape, grabbed me by my shoulders, took me in the moving van, and took me down to the neighbors where they had the 2 other adults down there and the one boy, Brad, down there, and that's all I had. They're questioning them, and there's more National Guard with guns down there, and by this time I'm feeling pretty drunk and drugged up, and I get down there, and they're still asking me, "Where's the body? Where's the body?" And like I still wouldn't say anything, but I looked over at Tom, and Tom goes, "What in the hell did you do to him? Did you drug him up?" And he's like getting pissed off, and they put guns in his face. And when I looked over him, they saw the picnic table was flipped over there, and he's like, "I got dirt over here. I got dirt." Like they couldn't find it the whole damn time. That really pisses me off. Like, how can you not see that? Like I had to be, and they're going, it's like, "You just rattled yourself." The kid is going like, "I'm going to kick your ass" and stuff. And they found the body, pulled it up and they used his freaking tractor to pull it up too. And they found everything, and they took me up to my house, and they had to wait for a car. They're going to take me in to have me hypnotized right then and there. But all they had were cleaning vans, so they had to call and order a car. I told you this is a long story.
That's fine.
Well, him and the other Native Americans, there was 2 that they had called from the local tribes, Gun Lake tribe and a little band of Ottawa tribe from Manistee, because the area that the boy got taken at was Native American land, which is a state land. But if the government would find a Sasquatch or something like that, they would immediately contact the Native Americans that were that used to be their land. And these 2 tribes had split up. These Potawatomi tribes had split up a long time ago as white man was moving further north, and they just kept on moving up further north. So they had 2 tribes that were involved that had something to do with the body, and they were there. So they started talking to one another at the table.
Okay, so there were 2 tribes involved in getting rid of the body?
2 tribes involved. I don't know why they had them involved.
So we're talking about National Guard, right?
Yep.
Bad guys that aren't National Guard.
Yeah, but all the agents were all Native American.
Gotcha. So the bad guys were Native American agents.
Well, I wouldn't call them bad guys.
Well, you did, right? Like you said, good guys, bad guys.
The one guy, Jerry, was way off. He got I'll get to that, but he got let go for all what he did.
I'm trying to keep everything straight in my head. So we got National Guard and Native Tribe.
Right, but when I was back in my house, it was just the Native Americans and me, and waiting for the car. They're talking to each other about the case, and they look over at me and go like, I'm all drugged up, but I'm listening to everything they say, and I'm over in the corner and drooling. They're like, well, what about him? You know, what we're talking about, sensitive. Is he going to? Oh, no, he's going to bring hypnotized. He'll never remember any of this. But they kept on talking. I remember I think I remember so much because like they immediately took me in and had me hypnotized, and I didn't have time to process any of it in my head. So like when those memories came back, they're like brand new,
almost like they were locked in time.
I felt like I woke up from a coma. Like I woke up, like I went down as a little kid, and I woke up decades later in this stupid old body, and like remembered all that. That's how I felt. I mean, there was a time I almost broke down to where like I couldn't even comprehend how I got from 1977 to to 2014. It was that bad, and but I got that sorted out. And, well, anyway, back to what they were talking about. The first thing he brings out, there wasn't any computers back then. Of course, everything was all just on paper, and he brings the file out. He says that this is the fifth body that they had found, but it was at the time, it was the first complete body that they had, because he said that all the other ones were bits and pieces one was turned up by a tractor with some tills on it, and the other ones were rotted so bad they didn't have the whole spine and everything all connected, right? And that's what he was telling these other Native Americans, and he told them that they're Neanderthal. And what else did he tell them? Oh, he pulls out the case file, and it's written wrong. This is kind of important. He said on the case file it was written, I don't know who wrote it. I think it was his assistant, I would guess. It said species number 5. It was supposed to say specimen number 5. And he started correcting. He's going like, I'm going to leave that on here and see if there's a leak. He left that on there. So I don't know if that's why people think there's 5 different species of them, or it was supposed to be specimen number 5. But just stupid little details like that. And let me see, what else did they talk about?